Good morning, Cornerstone. It's good to be with you guys this morning. If you're wondering why I'm talking from inside my car, I have little kids, okay? And so sometimes if you want some peace and quiet, you actually kind of need to step away from all of that. And at this point, on a nice day like this, not even my backyard is a good place of recluse for me. So here I am inside my car, all right? Anyways, we are here to talk about Psalms during this time, and I want to talk to you this morning about Psalm 46. All right, so let's actually start by reading directly from the text, and then we will get into unpacking it, and I'll kind of give you some of my thoughts and my reflections on this passage. All right, so let's start with the text. Psalm 46, God is our refuge and strength, an ever-present help in trouble. Therefore, we will not fear, though the earth give way and the mountains fall into the heart of the sea. Though its waters roar and foam and the mountains quake with their surging, there is a river whose streams make glad the city of God, the holy place where the Most High dwells. God is within her, she will not fall. God will help her at break of day. Nations are in uproar. Kingdoms fall. He lifts his voice. The earth melts. The Lord Almighty is with us. The God of Jacob is our fortress. Come and see what the Lord has done, the desolations he has brought on the earth. He makes wars cease to the ends of the earth. He breaks the bow and shatters the spear. He burns the shields with fire. He says, "Be still and know that I am God. I will be exalted among the nations. I will be exalted in the earth. The Lord Almighty is with us. The God of Jacob is our fortress." You know, I think one of the things that stood out to me when I first read that was the extravagant language, right? The language seems almost kind of heroic, right? God is our refuge. He's our strength. He's our ever-present help during times of trouble. He lifts his voice and the earth melts. The desolations he has brought on the earth. He breaks the bow. He shatters the spear. He burns the shields with fire. And he says, "Be still and know that I am God, and I will be exalted among the nations." And, when I read that kind of language, it almost, the expressions kind of sound like a superhero movie to me, right? And I've never actually thought of it that way before, but all this heroic language really reminds me of the Avengers movie a little bit, all right? And superhero movies in general. But I'll tell you this, I don't know about you guys, but I found the whole Avengers movie, the whole Marvel Cinematic Universe to actually be pretty fascinating, right? I think we love the drama of the duel between good and evil, these very colorful characters with their unique abilities, the plot, everything seems to be very well put together and very well done in general. I mean, think about it. The box office records speak for themselves, right? But the more I thought about this, there was a small part of me that wondered, why are these superhero movies so popular? Like, what is it about these movies? Like, I mean, it would make sense to me if people who are like 20 years and younger were the only kind of, age demographic crowd who enjoyed these movies. But that's not what we're seeing. I mean, everybody from 5 years old all the way up to 65 years old love these kind of movies. And so, while I do think that the characters and the plot and the CGI, the special effects, all those things may have something to do with its success, I think there's something else going on here. I think the secret to the success of these superhero movies is their meta-narrative. Now, what's a meta-narrative? Well, let me tell you what a narrative is first. A narrative is the story, right? It's the details, it's the nuances, it's the twists and turns of the plot. But see, the meta narrative is a larger overarching theme. A meta narrative is kind of the backdrop. This is the bigger arc, story arc, within which the smaller details of the plot unfolds. So all of these superhero movies, whether it's Marvel, whether it's DC, whether it's X-Men, you name it, whatever it is, they may all have different narratives, but they all share one meta narrative in common. And I want to talk to you about that today. Think about it. Whichever one of these superhero movies you watch, they all play out the same way, right? So in the beginning, there's this really amazing place, whether it's a city or a country or a village, a dimension, whatever it is, everything is well, everything is good, people are happy. But in the midst of that, there's one character who rises. And this character has devious plans. He has nefarious plans. He has bad motives, right? He's power hungry. He's evil. He wants to take control. And this person ruins everything. He puts his plan into action and it just destroys everything. It ruins the peace. It ruins the harmony of everything. And chaos descends on what was once a peaceful existence. You know, everything looks really bleak and discouraging. However, out of the ruins arises one person. Out of the ruins arises one hero. And this person looks like the rest of us. He looks like any one of us. But then in another sense, he's very unlike us, right? So in one sense, he kind of looks like us, like a Clark Kent, like a Peter Parker, like a Tony Stark, right? But in another sense, he has powers and capabilities and things that he's able to do that the rest of us are not able to do, right? And then this person, he enters enemy territory and he takes on the enemy single-handedly, right? And there's this epic final climactic battle where there's great ruin and destruction, and where the hero almost dies or sometimes dies. But in the end, he prevails and the enemy is defeated once and for all, and peace reigns again and everything comes back to normal, and there's that original utopia that once existed. Think about that. That is the meta narrative of almost every superhero movie, more or less. But here's the thing. Everybody already knows this, right? So I actually haven't told you anything unique. But what is it? Why does this still appeal to everyone? Guys, I want to tell you, and I think it's because we share the same meta narrative as these superhero movies. In other words, reality has the same meta narrative of these superhero movies. Think about it. The meta narrative of the gospel is no different than these movies. Like, God made a world that was beautiful. Everything was perfect. Everything was good. God said so himself, right? He said, it is good. And then from that rises up this one character, this one person, this one power-hungry being that had nefarious plans, that had bad motives. And he enacted his plan, and his plan involved deception, and it just ruined everything. It ruined everything. Everything fell apart. All the harmony, all the peace, all the goodness, the perfection, everything got contaminated by this evil. And everything looks bleak. But then, 2,000 years ago, one person comes into the picture. From the dusty plains of Nazareth, one person arises. And this person, by every external measure, looks just like us, right? But in another sense, he's nothing like us, right? In one sense, he's just like us. He eats and drinks and sleeps. But in another sense, he has abilities. There's something within him that puts him in an entirely different category than the rest of us. right? And so Jesus came into this world. He came into this earthly dimension to defeat the works of the evil one and save us from the evil one's designs. And this person took on the evil powers of this world, and it seemed like he was defeated, right? He certainly did not look like a superhero when he was hung up on a cross. He looked like he was defeated, or so everyone thought. But he rose. He rose again. He came back, and he defeated the bonds of evil, and he released and liberated the people who were imprisoned under that. But you know what? We know how this movie ends, right? It ends well. The movie definitely took a turn for the better 2,000 years ago when the evil one was defeated at the cross. But the movie's not over yet, right? It's not over yet. Just like in the movies, just when you think that that evil one has been defeated, he's down, is over, he rises up for like one last fight. He rises up for like one last blow, right? But he will not prevail. He will be defeated once and for all, and all of creation will be restored to its original glory. That little ending of the movie is yet to happen. But we know how it ends. It ends well. Ladies and gentlemen, the story of the gospel is ultimately a superhero story. It is a story of God going to the greatest length possible, entering another dimension, becoming one of us to save us from the clutches of the evil one. These movies are box office hits because they are a reflection of the gospel that resonates within us believers. But here's the thing. It resonates in a sense even for unbelievers, right? See, even unbelievers know that there's something wrong with this world. Even unbelievers, even if they can't quite put their finger on it, they have this intuitive sense that things are not how it is supposed to be. Something is wrong and something needs to be done about it, right? But they don't know how the movie ends. And this is why it's important for us as Christians to share the gospel. This is why it's important for us to talk to them about the gospel movie, right? And share the things that says, yes, things don't look good right now, but God has this under control. That he did come on a rescue mission to save the people from the clutches of the evil one. And when he will return again, and he will make all things new. The evil one will be defeated once and for all. And if we believe in the meta-narrative of the gospel, and if we believe in the central hero of this movie, then we can be assured that our lives will be secure as well, and this world will be brought back to its original glory, and justice will ultimately be served. When we meditate on Psalm 46, it should remind us that God is sovereign, that he is powerful, that he's not absent, that he's not silent, that he is fully in control despite everything around us screaming dysfunction. He's in charge. He is not perturbed by any problem or pandemic, for that matter. He is still on the throne, and he will have his way in the end. I want you to think about that truth as we head toward Good Friday. When Jesus rode into town on a donkey, a superhero is the last thing that anybody would have compared him to. Certainly nobody thought that when he was whipped and beaten and flogged and stripped naked and crucified. His own disciples gave up on him. But ladies and gentlemen, that stony grave on the hills of Golgotha could not contain this hero. He rose again. He defeated death once and for all. Jesus will come riding back again, but this time on a chariot fit for a king. He will come, he will conquer, and he will reign forever. And just as Psalm 46 says, the Lord is our refuge. He's our fortress. He will be exalted among the nations, exalted on all of the earth. Praise God for that truth when you celebrate Resurrection Sunday this week. We know how the movie of the gospel ends. It ends well. Bless you guys.